All right, let's talk about something so many of us think we know inside and out, yoga. But what if I told you that the yoga you see in studios today, well, that's just the final chapter of a story that's thousands of years old. We're going to peel back the layers and see what's really going on beneath the surface.
Yeah, this probably looks pretty familiar, right? For millions of people, this is yoga. It's this huge, multi-billion-dollar industry built on health, wellness, and physical exercise. It promises us flexibility, strength, and, a little bit of that inner peace we're all after. But what if all of this, the physical practice, is just the very, very tip of the iceberg? I mean, what was yoga really for in the first place, way before it became another way to work out?
Okay, to answer that, we've got to go way back, because the original goal of yoga, believe it or not, it had almost nothing to do with touching your toes. It was all about setting your mind free.
And the word itself, yoga, gives us a massive clue. It comes from this Sanskrit root yuj, which literally means to yoke or to unite. And we're not just talking about uniting your muscles in a pretzel pose. The idea was to unite your mind and your body to reach a whole other level of consciousness.
Check this out. This quote is from one of the most important texts on the subject, the Yoga Sutras. It says, yoga is the stilling of the changing states of the mind. Did you catch that? Not a single word about postures or stretching. The OG focus was 100% on mastering your own mind.
So why would anyone want to still their mind? What's the point? Well, it was all for this one thing, moksha, liberation. In classical yoga, that was the ultimate prize. Not a six-pack, not perfect flexibility, but spiritual freedom from the endless cycle of life and death. This was a seriously profound spiritual practice.
And here's something you might not know. We tend to link yoga just with Hinduism, right? But these kinds of contemplative practices were actually a big deal in other major Indian traditions too, like Buddhism and Jainism. It was woven into the very fabric of the spiritual landscape back then.
Okay, so if yoga began as the super intense discipline for the mind, how in the world did it become so focused on the body? That transformation is a central part of the whole story.
So here's the evolution in a nutshell. You get these really ancient origins, way back. Then, around 400 CE, this key figure comes along and writes it all down. Fast forward 1,000 years, and a more physical version, called Hatha Yoga, pops up. And then, much more recently, it starts its journey over to the West.
And this is the guy we can credit for writing it all down, the sage Patanjali. Now, he didn't invent yoga, but he was the one who collected all the ideas and organized them into this amazing philosophical system in the Yoga Sutras. He basically created the blueprint for what we call Raja Yoga, the royal yoga, the yoga of the mind. So Patanjali laid out this 8-step path, and this is the crucial part. Take a look at step 3, asana. Today, that word means all the poses, right? But in the sutras, it just meant one thing, a steady, comfy, seated position for meditation. That's it. It was just one small piece of a much bigger puzzle that was all about ethics, breathing, and focus.
The big game changer came centuries later with Hatha Yoga. You can see the focus just completely flips. Raja Yoga was like, let's train the mind directly. Hatha Yoga was like, hold on, let's purify the body first to get it ready for the mind work. This is where the physical postures really took center stage. And yep, this is the direct ancestor of pretty much all the yoga you see in studios today.
So you've got this ancient mind-first practice, and then this later body-first one. So how did this discipline from India end up becoming a massive global phenomenon?
Well, its journey around the world really kicked off in the late 1800s. And the person who started it all was Swami Vivekananda. He was the first major teacher to really introduce Indian philosophy to the West. But get this. He wasn't teaching warrior poses. He was talking about yoga's philosophy, its deep meditative ideas.
But then, as we move into the 20th century, something really interesting happened. Yoga started to get a makeover. Teachers realized that to make it popular in the West, they needed a different angle. So they started promoting it mainly for its health and fitness benefits. A lot of the deep spiritual stuff got, well, let's just say it was put on the back burner to make it a little more digestible for a new audience.
And wow, did it catch on? I mean, just look at the US. The number of people practicing yoga just exploded. It went from about 4 million in 2001 to a mind-blowing 20 million just 10 years later. Yoga wasn't some fringe thing anymore. It was officially a mainstream fitness craze.
And that kind of brings us full circle, doesn't it? Now that millions of people are doing yoga for their health, modern science is starting to take a serious look.
Researchers are trying to actually measure the benefits of this ancient practice.
And what they're finding is pretty fascinating. Studies are suggesting that yoga might help with a whole bunch of things, from physical issues like high blood pressure and chronic back pain, all the way to helping improve the quality of life for people dealing with really serious illnesses. It really just goes to show how powerful that connection between our mind, our breath, and our body truly is.
But, we have to be real about it. It's not all sunshine and savasana. Like any physical activity, especially one that millions of people are doing, injuries can and do happen. We're talking about things from common muscle tears and knee problems, all the way to, in some super rare cases, really serious stuff like damage to arteries in the neck. It just hammers home a really important point. You got to practice safely, and finding a good, qualified teacher is absolutely key.
So, that leaves us with one big question, right? After this incredible 3,000-year journey from a path to spiritual freedom for ancient mystics to a global wellness industry, what is the true meaning of yoga today? Its meaning has been transformed, adapted, and stretched in so many ways. And you know what? Maybe the real answer is different for every single one of us, every time we step onto the mat.